Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I have another doodle card for you, and it's probably one of the most advanced type of doodle I've done so far, but it's doable. Um, I don't think you're going to have a big problem with this, and I'll show you each of the components of doing the flowers. So we'll just have some fun with it. So what we're going to need, and I'm going to do, this is the demo, and I actually didn't even, it's just the card front, but I'm going to do the card today just a little bit different, just in the borders on this, not, well, the flowers and all, every one of them is going to be a little different, but it's just going to be just a little different, and you can decide how you would like your card to be. So what we need for the card today, we need a piece of Whisper White cardstock that's 5.5 by 8.5, and that's scored and folded at 4 1/4. It's our card base. We can put that aside. We have a piece of Whisper White, and this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. A piece of Melon Mambo, 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, and don't be too crazy about these sizes, writing them down or anything, because I'll have it all listed down below in my materials list. And then a piece of designer paper, and I chose this design from a card stack or a paper stack I got at AC Moore, and it's called Garden Party, and it's got a lot of interesting things in here. So it's got a lot of nice little papers. When you're choosing your designer paper, don't go for anything really big and bold and floral. You don't want it to draw your eye away from the part of the card that we're going to be doodling. So keep something, you want a little something around the edges, but don't make it too bold or crazy. I chose this zigzag design, and yes, I cut the center out because I'm thrifty with my precious designer papers. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And you'll notice on the original card, I just did some little lines here so it looked like kind of a sloppy blanket stitch around the edges. Okay, then I used this stamp right here, Hoping Your Day is Perfect, and that's from the Sweet Sentiments stamp set. I'm using this stamp a lot. I just love this stamp. I used it on a couple of the Mother's Day cards that I made. And then from Balloon Adventures on the front of the card, No one deserves a happier birthday than you. That's the stamp we're going to be using on the front. You'll need some Tombow glue. You need a nice easy on your paper eraser. An art gum eraser is good. A pencil. You need a Sharpie Ultra Fine Point black pen. And then I used Melon Mambo and Old Olive. Those are the Stampin Write Markers. And then I have some scratch paper, and this is what I'm going to demo for you, how to do the flowers. So we'll start with the flower components. They're basically a segment of a circle. So if you have a circle, one of your flowers might use like this part of the circle, or maybe just a smaller wedge of the circle for a smaller flower. So we would use this part. Let's see, I'll do another flower with one kind of in between the two. And I'll use my big fat Sharpie to show you. Okay, so this is the This is our big wedge here of a circle. And I'm just going to go, let's see, just kind of squiggly to the center here. And I'll do another petal there, but I want, let's see, I want a petal come here. And maybe one like that. And that's basically one of the flowers. Let's see, we'll do something here too. I'll come out here and make a petal of the flower there, come out here and just go in. And if you notice, I keep the outside of the flower here. I mean, it's a little wavy, but pretty straight. And then I go kind of roughly on the top part and the inside of the flowers. We want our flowers to be a little ruffly. I don't know what kind of flowers these would be. They're kind of like a cross between a sweet pea flower, and then I have like morning glory leaves on them. So let me do another flower here. And we'll go out here. And I come in, and this one, and then you see on this one I didn't get all the way out, so I don't have my circle. So I'm going to add a petal in the back here. So now it's got a little petal in the back. It's got a little more depth to it. So you're looking at that flower from a little bit different angle. So that's pretty much our flowers. So you might want to, if you're a little hesitant about doing them, do a couple on a piece of scrap paper. Okay, so that's our flowers. And our leaves are just sloppy hearts. Here's a sloppy heart for you. I'm going to add a little center here. Let's see, do another sloppy heart. This one will be a little bigger. And I'll do a little curved line there. That'll be the center of my leaf. So, just sloppy hearts. And there. So, just like so. Or narrow. You do a narrow one. Like that. And then it looks like you're looking at your leaves from different angles. So if you saw it face on, it would be more like this. It would look more like this. And as you get more off to the side of it, then it would look more like that. So anyway, those are the leaves. Then we have, let's see. Then we have the curly cues. Those are pretty easy to do. Just do them off. You do a little curl in the opposite direction, or start out big, make them little, go little. But those are all the little viney things we're going to have on our cards. I have one on my thing that just was a swirl like that. So again, if you want to practice these, the leaves and your little curly cues. I do better going in one direction. Which way is it's this way. Then I do going the opposite direction. Let's see if I can. So I like to warm up a little bit and do them going both directions. Oh, I did it the same direction. Okay, let's see. So I wanted to go this way. See, I'm just so bad at doing it that way. My hand didn't even want to do it. Okay, so there's going the opposite direction. So just, you can warm up a little bit. And then there's the little cap on a flower. They always have that little thing of green at the bottom. And those are just little things like this. And there's just 2 of them on each of the flowers I'm doing. So that's very easy to do. And then there's the stem. And the stem, you'll just make your stem go kind of like this, and then draw a secondary line next to it, you want to keep it kind of close to that first line, and I didn't do too good on that. Let me do that again so I have some practice before I actually do my card, and there we go. And if you're an advanced doodler, you make your stem a little thicker as you get to the bottom of the card, but not too thick because it's a vine. So alright, let's get on with the card then. I'll put my big fat Sharpie away so I don't accidentally use that. And I'll get my other drawing implements out here. And the first thing I'm going to do though is oh my goodness, I didn't even think about stamp blocks or stamp pads. Let's see, that's a good size block. Let's see if my stamp will fit. Oh, how crazy is that? And I don't see my stamp. Well, I can't find it. Oh my gosh, I wonder where it went. It's probably in a little box somewhere in my room here. So you know what? We're going to do a real big one here. I know I can get my hands on this one. And this is wishing you a very happy birthday. I'm definitely going to need a bigger block for that one. So let me put that on there. This is the first time I'm using this stamp, so I'm going to have to stamp it off one time. So let me get my scrap paper in here. Whenever you use a stamp for the first time, don't go directly to like your precious card and do it and use it. Always practice, do some practice stamps first, because as you can see, let me get this in the camera. You see that? That's not the best impression in the world. Not at all. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to switch out and I'm going to use my mini Misty here, because I want to make sure I get a good impression. And even though this is a clear stamp, it's just too hard to line up sentiments and have them perfect. So I'm cleaning my stamp off. I'll put it in position here. Boy, it's just gonna fit. So I'm putting it that way down the left hand corner. And we're gonna have to be careful with our vines, because I wasn't planning on using a sentiment this large. Alright, so I'll ink that up. I can already see from when I'm inking it that it's going to need a second go. So there we go. Yep. Let me ink that up again. This is the wonderful thing about it, the Misty. Because if you don't get it first shot, you just leave your paper in place and you can go again and again and again until you get a good impression. And okay, now we're good. That's just lovely. All right. So let me get my pencil, and I'm just going to lightly trace where I want my vine to go. So I'm going to want it to come here, and I want it to come down the side, and I can kind of swoop it in there and have it go off that way. Can you see my line? It is very light. You want to be able to easily erase this. Alright. So the next thing I'll do is put my flowers in. And I think I'll have a flower here. And I'm doing this very lightly, and I think I'll have a flower about right here. Now I'll have to decide where I want flowers to avoid I think, let's see, I have a spot up here in the corner. I can just lightly sketch in there. And let's see, I could have one coming like this here, and then maybe a smaller one down here. Okay, so you see how I drew them in? I made my little circle wedges. Okay, just like I did in the when I was showing you how to do these doodles. So the first thing on the flower we're going to do is make those little caps. That would be, let me get that in there, these little things. So right at the point of your circle, the point of your circle wedge, we're going to make just a couple little caps there. Okay, so now I have all my caps drawn in, and I can start my flowers. So we'll have this one, we'll have that come out here, and in, and this side come out here, and in, and we'll have another one there in the middle, and you know, maybe one in the back here too. Okay, so that'd be one. We'll do this one. And just do 3 petals on this one. So you want to come out kind of straight, and then make the inner part of the flower kind of ruffly and crinkly. And one more flower. Okay, and there's our flowers. Alright. They don't look like much right now, but I guarantee they're going to be beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to put some leaves in. So some of these spaces here in between, I need to have some green. I'm not going to put any down the bottom, that'll be just stem. But let's see. I could put a leaf up here. So remember, we're doing sloppy hearts. So there's a sloppy heart there. I'll do a sloppy heart here. And one coming up this way, I think. And as you get down the stem, you'll want them to get a little bigger as you go. And let's see. I need something a little green here, I think. Maybe. Nah, I think that's enough. I think that's enough leaves, because our stem's going to be green. And our little flower things will be, our little flower caps here will be green. So the next I'm going to do is to sketch in to draw in my stem. So I'll have a little stem there. And you'll notice I'm not connecting the flowers to that stem yet. Okay. We'll do our next little segment of stem. And our next segment of the stem here, and down here. And I'm not going to close off the bottom of the stem. So now we've got to attach our flowers and our leaves to our stem. So we'll just draw a little line, just a little curved line. And we'll do our leaves. Oh, that leaves needs a little center line. That one needs one too. And that's about it. It's time to color these in. So I hope you're able to see this. I have my camera down in the lower position. Let me just show you, let you take a look at that for a second before I start to color. Okay. So now we'll do the coloring. The leaves and the stems and the little caps, of course, are going to be the old olive. And we're going to use the painter type of tip. And we're just going to put a little stroke of color in each of these. We'll just go through and do all the little flower caps. And then just stroke that, some color in on the stems. You want to use the tip for this because it's a pretty narrow area. And then for the leaves, I lay it down just almost on its side. And just put the color in like this. If you need to go back and put a little more, that's fine. And if you don't get it all colored, that's fine. These are doodle flowers. They're supposed to be kind of sketchy looking. I think having a little bit of white showing on them just adds to the artsy look. Okay, and then we do the same with the flowers. You want to get your tip, you want to lay your tip down more on these so that it's more just strokes, just broad strokes. You see how much I covered with that one? For some reason my Melon Mambo, it seems to be a little squishier tip on it than the green was. But that makes it just so much easier to fill these flowers in. And there, and the last one. Now these colors will lighten up a little bit as the ink dries. But all in all, I think, you see? I know, it started out looking not so wonderful, didn't it? But once you get to the point where you can put the color on, boy, it really makes a big difference. So now I'm going to take my art gum eraser. Let me make sure that's dry, because I don't want to smear ink. And I'm just going to erase wherever I can see, and not too many places. Actually, that was it. That's the only place I could see any of my pencil marks. So this part is finished. We can start to put the card together. We can assemble. Oh, no, we can't assemble it. We need to stamp the inside of the card. And if I were a sane person, I would use my Mini Misty to stamp this also. Seems how I have it out already, but I'm not, so I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to stick my stamp on a block that I have sitting right here. I'll ink that up and hope for the best. Right, let me line that up. That a little bit towards the top. Now if you wanted to, on the inside of your card, you could add some flowers and leaves also. But I'm not going to. So I have a funny feeling this video is going to be quite long anyway. Okay, so now we're ready. I'm going to turn my card front piece here over and put some Tombow glue on the back. I opted for the Tombow rather than using the tape because there's just a tiny little bit of this Melon Mambo showing on the edges. And I want to make sure I get that even. So the Tombow gives me a little bit of time to work with it. I got a little bit of the Tombow on the card front here. But you know what? I got one of these. This is supposed to remove it. And I tried it out, and indeed it does work. So I'm going to show that to you once this Tombow dries. It should dry pretty fast. Okay, then I'm just going to put some Tombow just along the edge here of my cutout. If you don't cut it out, you just do the whole back with the Tombow. And you get that centered. And then we can flip that up, the whole thing over. Now, anywhere along the line here, if you want to, you could use some dimensionals and pop it up. That would be nice. Or pop it up through each of these layers. You could pop up the white card front piece here. Pop up the Melon Mambo too. And then, well, I wouldn't pop up the designer paper because this covers the whole card front. I'll put that down on the card front. Make sure that's all lined up. And now, let's see, that should be dry enough. I'm going to use the eraser, and it just, wait a minute, let me show you. Alright, can you see the smudge? Where is it? Right there. See that smudge? That's some of the Tombow that got on the front of the card, which that would have ruined this card, except that now I can take this and just kind of flick at it, and it removes your dried Tombow adhesive anyway. See? It's gone now, and it saved my card. So I like this thing. I forget what it's called. I'll look it up, and I'll put that down the materials list too. Okay, there's our card. Wishing you a very happy birthday, and hoping your day is perfect. It is quite a bit different than my sample card, but I think it's every bit as pretty. So if you liked my video, then be sure to hit that like button down below. If you'd like to subscribe to more of my and see more of my videos, then there's a subscribe button there too. If you'd like to shop with me for any of the Stampin' Up! Products that I've used today, then you can do that either through my Facebook page or my website. And y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stampin'.